Doing own voiceover soft music. Jungkook entered his house with a wide smile just by thinking that after a long tiring day he will finally get his wife's hugs but instead today he got welcomed by his wife talking to someone, making Jungkook smile to replace with a frown and to whom she is talking, he asked himself before walking towards the kitchen because the sound of his wife was coming from there. When Jungkook entered the kitchen, he saw his wife talking on phone while facing the counter. So Jungkook walked towards her and back hugged her, making her flinch. But soon she relaxed, knowing it's her husband. "To whom are you talking, wine baby?" he asked while snuggling his face in her cork of neck and her there, making her breathe heavy. And Cook, stop, I'm talking to mom. She whispered to Jungkook to stop her neck, but Jungkook didn't stop and baby let me relax. I'm so tired, so let me you he said, not even bothering to lower his voice and then continue her up from her neck to her back of earlobe. Meanwhile, Vine's face got whole red in embarrassment, knowing her mother would have heard her, and she was right. She heard her mom chuckle and, "Okay, princess, I will cut the call and you let your husband do," she said, making Vine's face turn more red, and she bit her lips, and Jungkook shrimp in between her earlobe, knowing now he will get his wife's whole attention, but what he heard next made him stop whine. And also, princess, don't forget to come for a stay to the house tomorrow as you promised. Jungkook just pulled back from whine, making whine frown as suddenly why he stopped her, and she turned around to face Jungkook to see him having a sad cold face. So okay, mom, I will. Bye, mom. Bye, princess. See you tomorrow and bring Cook too. Yeah, okay. And then both of them cut the call and Vine keep her phone on the counter and Cook, I missed you. Saying this, she threw herself on Jungkook and hugged him tightly, and thus Jungkook got his welcome hug, making his whole tired body muscle to relax. Jungkook smiled. "I missed you too, baby," he said and hugged her back tightly and her side of it, making Ryan to look up at Jungkook's face and pout her lips just for Jungkook to place his lips on her to share a passionate after a passionate Jungkook smile. "Finally, I feel heaven after a whole day," he said, making Ryan chuckle, and she gave a quick peek to his lip before pulling back from the hug and go and take a shower. "Till that time, I will heat up the food, as you say, my queen." Saying this, he Ryan's forehead before walking out of the kitchen. As soon as Jungkook disappeared from Ryan's side, her smile got replaced with a concerned face, and she took a deep breath and hope everything goes well, she said to herself and walked towards the oven to heat the food. Both of them had dinner while talking about their day, except Wine didn't tell him about what she talked with her mom because she is waiting for the right time to say it. And Jungkook also didn't ask her what her mom means by saying going and staying over their house because he knew Wine will say it when she feels like. And now both of them were cuddling in their bed with Vine laying her head on Jungkook's chest and watching a movie. To be specific, Jungkook's eyes were fixed on the TV screen while his fingers playing with her hair. Meanwhile, Vine's eyes were fixed on his abs where her fingers were randomly drawing things. "Cook," she called Jungkook in a low voice, clearly indicating she needed to say something. "Yes, baby," he asked while continuing playing with her hair. And Cook, mom has asked to go and stay with them for a day, she said in her low tone without facing Jungkook and continuing drawing random things on his abs. Meanwhile, Jungkook's finger paused playing with her hair, making Vine to bite her lips and nervous, thinking Jungkook will say no. But fine, go and stay with them for a day. Tomorrow I will drop you to your parents' house while I go for work, and then day after tomorrow I will pick you up on my way back from company, he said, making Vine surprised, and she looked up at Jungkook's face. "Really?" Jungkook smiled. "Yes, baby boo, you can stay with your mom and dad. But what about you?" "Oh, me, I'm not coming. Don't you know me and your dad doesn't go well with each other?" He said the thing which was making Vine nervous at first place to say about having a stay at her parents' house because Vine's dad doesn't like Jungkook. That's why Vine was hoping that Jungkook will refuse to stay at her house, and also he will not allow Vine to go because both of them can't live without each other for a single second. But to her surprise, he agreed. "Yeah, I know, but mom," before Vine can say further, Jungkook placed his finger on her lips and, "Shh, no more discussion on this. Just say to your mom that I got some work. She will understand." Saying this, he took his finger from her lips and she sadly pouted, knowing she can't force Jungkook to come with her. "I will miss you." Saying this, she hugged him tightly by resting her head back to his chest. "I will miss you more," he said, and her top of head before again started playing with her hair, and then they both continued watching movie. But in between the movie, a scene came making both Jungkook and Wine to look at each other, and then they both trim and let's make up for tomorrow's night, baby girl, as you say. She too agreed, making Jungkook to pause the movie and off the TV and then to smash his lips on her. Jungkook stopped the car in front of Wine's parents' house and turned to face Wine and hold her palms in his hand. Don't forget, baby, tomorrow evening I will pick you up on my way back from company. Okay, I am gonna miss you, Cook, she said with a sad put. I will miss you more, baby boo. Saying this, he took Wine in his lap and I will keep calling you, he said while cherishing Wine's cheek. Um, and Cook, have food on time and don't overwork yourself thinking that I'm not at home, okay? She warned Jungkook, clearly knowing his character, which only made Jungkook smile. And as you say, my queen, I should leave. You are getting late. Yeah, I know, but before that, saying this, he placed his lips on Wine's and both share a passionate Jungkook smile. I love you, baby, he said after pulling back from the Wine smile. I love you too. And then Jungkook gave a forehead to Wine. Bye, see you tomorrow, he sadly said, making Wine smile to drop. She just and hugged Jungkook tightly, but he only hugged her softly because, baby, if you stay like this, then I may end up taking you back to our house and you will have to break the promise you gave to your mom, he said, making Wine to immediately pull back from the hug. Oh no, I don't want to break the promise, so I will leave, Cook. Bye, she hurriedly said, and his whole face, and lastly gave a long on his lips and I'm leaving, Cook, she said, to which Jungkook just half-heartedly nodded his head as yes, and her forehead, and thus Wine walked out of the car and walked to the doorstep of the house and then looked back at Jungkook, who was watching her, and she waved her hand as bye, to which Jungkook just gave a smile to her and then drive off before he changed his mind and take Wine back. Vine took a deep breath and turned around and rang the doorbell, and a minute later the door of her house opened with, "Oh, my princess finally came home." Saying this, he pulled Vine into a lovely tight hug, making Vine to smile and hug her dad back. "Oh, I miss my princess so much," she said on her side of it, and then pulled back from the hug only to hold Vine's wrist and walk inside the house. Weinstein made Wine sat on the couch and he sat next to her and cupped her cheek. Wine smiled. I too. Wine was about to say that she too missed him but got cut it off by her dad. "You are fine, right? You are good in that mafia's mansion, right? You are safe, right? Did he hurt you?" He questioned her non-stop, making Wine sign and Appa, I'm fine. Just look at me properly. Do you find any evidence of me being unhappy or hurt or not being protected?" she said while standing up from the couch and spin around to show him that she is totally fine and healthy and happy. But yeah, I don't believe that mafia. Moreover, before he can say anything, he was cut off by, "Why don't you directly say that you hate him because he is the other man in your princess life apart from you, which you can't accept, and also you are jealous of your son in law because your princess loves him as you are not ready to share your princess love with anyone," she said while walking out of the kitchen while wiping her hands in a towel, gaining both Vian's and her husband's attention. "Mom," saying that she walked towards her mom and hugged her. "Oh, my princess, I missed you so much." She to her side of head and pulled back from hug and then took a good look at Vine from head to toe before saying, "Vine, mom shrimp, you are glowing with your husband's love, princess," she said, making Vine's cheek turn red and shy. "Ush, mom." Vine mom smiled. "I'm so happy that my princess find a man who treats her like a queen. I really love Cook for that," she said, making Vine's dad interfere in their conversation, totally being not able to take his wife's complimenting his son-in-law. "Wow, look, he even made my wife fall in his charm," he said and rolled his eyes. "But dad, he is my husband. At least give him that respect," she said, not being able to take her dad's hate towards her Cook more. But Vine's word only made him hate Cook more because, "See, he even made my little princess talk back to me. Oh God, now what will he do? And princess, what did you say? Respect him as your husband." He scoffed. It's the only reason that I am not him. Otherwise, I would have him long back for my innocent princess," he said, making Vine's mouth wide open in disbelief. And she didn't try to protest against her dad because she got it. It will only make her dad hate Cook more. So she let him be. "Oh, come on, don't be jealous, old man. Your son in law is such a good guy." Her mom interrupted her dad's talk only for him to raise his eyebrow on her and And how you know that? He asked while crossing his arm. Because just look at your daughter's face. Don't you notice every time she visits us after her marriage with Cook, her face is glowing more and more each time. And that's only happened when the woman feel loved. To be specific, being loved by their man. She said, making Wine start to walk towards Wine and look carefully at her face. And yes, his wife was right. Every time he saw his daughter, she is glowing more and more. But his ego is more important to him after his over possessiveness to his daughter. So no, my princess was glowing more than this when she was in my arms. You will never let your ego down, right? She asked, making Wine start to roll his. Princess, don't mind him. He is just jealous of Cook. So you leave him and come. I have prepared a lot of your and Cook's favorite dish, she said while tucking Wine's hand in her and walking towards the kitchen, leaving Wine's dad alone in the living room, who just again sat back to the couch and on the TV. He will come for lunch, right? And he will stay a night here, right? She asked Wine as soon as they entered the kitchen. Mom, I don't think so. You know, na Cook is scared of dad, so he will not come for lunch. And also, he refused to stay. She sadly said, making Wine's mom sign. This old man, don't mind him. He is just possessive for you, and just think that Cook can never protect you and keep you safe, even though deep down his heart he know that Cook can protect you and he keep you safe and happy. But his ego, she said, making Wine sign and. Okay, I understand Appa is possessive, but it's too much, Mom. She said, making Wine's mom roll her eyes. And this is nothing, honey. Let me tell you a secret. Your dad once said that he will never let you marry because he doesn't want a second man in your life apart from him. She said, making Wine's eyes wide open in shock. What the? She stopped herself, respecting her mom, who just chuckled. And don't worry, it was when you were a kid. It just his way of expressing how much he loves you and adores you. She said, making Wine smile sincerely. Although it's a weird form of expressing love, but I love him too, she said with her sparkling eyes. What about me? She asked with her pouty lips. Oh, I love you too, Mom, she said, making her mom smile. Did you had breakfast or should I serve breakfast for you? We had breakfast before leaving home, she said, referring to her and Jungkook. Wine mom smiled. Fine, then let's prepare dessert for lunch, she said, to which Wine nodded her head as yes, and thus they both started making dessert while having random gossips and talks. It was now lunch break, and luckily from morning Jungkook got a meeting and few paperwork to do which made him occupied, so he didn't got time to think about Wine being away from home. But then he stopped working and leaned back on his chair to relax his back muscle, and at the time his mind started thinking of Wine being away from home, and today he will be alone in that four walls, which is not a home without Wine. So, I will not go home today. I will stay in my office and work till tomorrow, and then at evening I will go to home and freshen up and go to pick up my baby, he said to himself, and by thinking that he has to wait till tomorrow to go to Wine, which got him frustrated. Ush, when will it be tomorrow evening? He impatiently said and kicked his table legs. Let's continue our work, otherwise I will keep thinking Wine being away and I will go crazy. Saying this, he sat straight and he was about to take the pen from the table, but his attention went to the sound of his office door knocking. So, come in, he said, and his office door opened when he saw his secretary walking towards a small tea table in his office, and he placed a paperback on the tea table, making Jungkook frown. What's that, Mark? He asked, and Mark walked towards Jungkook's table and, Sir, Mrs. John has sent you lunch, he said, making a smile appear on his lips. And how? Before he can ask how did Wine got him his lunch, Jungkook's phone rang, and he took his phone from the table and looked at the phone screen to see love, making his smile go wide, and he immediately took the call. Baby, did you got the lunch? Yes, baby, but why did you ask Mark to get me lunch? Cook, I know you will not have lunch as I am not at home, so I asked Mark to come to my mom's house and I packed lunch for you and gave it to him. So you better have the lunch right now in front of me, she said, making Jungkook chuckle, and he got up from the chair and walked towards the tea table and kept his phone aside and opened the lunchbox and chopstick, and then he again picked up the phone to face Wine and see, I'm eating. Saying this, he take a bite of food and Wine smile. Good boy. Now finish eating. I'm watching you. Fine, my queen. He took another bite. And did you eat, baby? Yes, I had. So how's everyone? Your mom and dad? He asked and gave him reply fine. And thus they continued their lovely conversation while Jungkook eat his lunch made by Wine's. Wine's dad knocked on Wine's room door, but he didn't got any response, so he knocked one more time where again he got no response. So, Princess, I'm coming in with dessert for you, he said before opening the door and walking in with a plate of dessert in his hand, as Wine didn't had a dessert because immediately after eating lunch, Wine rushed to her room to call Jungkook. Wine's dad entered the room just to hear Wine's voice from balcony, so he walked towards the balcony where he saw Wine laughing and blushing while talking to Jungkook through the phone, who was eating his lunch which Wine packed and sent to him earlier. Wine's happy face made Wine's dad smile wholeheartedly, and he peeked more into Wine's phone screen to have a look at his son in law. And after seeing him enjoying his lunch, Wine's dad's eyes shined with love for Jungkook, and a sincere smile appeared on his lips before he slowly turned around and walked out of the room, giving them privacy. Jungkook has finished his lunch a long time ago, but then too they both didn't stop their lovely talking. But then suddenly Jungkook looked up from his phone screen when he heard his office door knock. Come in, he said in his cold tone, and again his secretary walked inside the office and stood in front of Jungkook. And I'm sorry to disturb you, but Mr. John, you got an important meeting, he informed Jungkook, and cancel. He was about to cancel it, but Wine cut him off through the phone. No, Cook, just go and attend your meeting. We will talk later, she said, making Jungkook sign. Fine, love, I will be back quick. Love you. Love you more, Cook. And thus both of them cut the call together. You go and arrange the meeting room. I'm coming, he said to Mark after cutting the call and putting his phone inside his coat pocket. And okay, sir. And thus Mark walked out of the room, and Jungkook cleaned the table and keep the lunch bag aside. I should take a nap before helping mom to prepare snacks for evening and then dinner, she said while stretching her arms, and then she got her from the swing and walked inside her bedroom. Finally, this work is over, he said while closing the last file and looked at the clock to see it was his usual time to go home, which reminded him of Wine not at home. So, no, I won't go home. I don't wanna go home. So, saying this, he took his phone and called his secretary, who immediately picked up the call and come to my office. Saying this, he cut the call, and within 5 minutes, Jungkook heard his office door knocking. So he said, come in. Where comes his secretary? So, why did you call me? He asked after standing in front of Jungkook's table. Mark gave me the files of the pending work. I'm gonna do it now. But sir, there is no pending work left, he said, making Jungkook's plan fail. What? Yes, sir. Don't you set a rule that should not be any pending work, so every employee stay late night so has not to leave any pending work? What? How can all the employees be so sincere? So you being the mafia king, they are scared of you. Jungkook grabbed his hair as now he has no other option to leave his home, and at the same time his phone rang, so he took his phone to see love, so he immediately took the call. Cook, did you leave the office? Yeah, baby, I'm leaving, he unwillingly said, not wanting to go home without Wine. Okay, then call me once you reach home. Yeah, baby, I will call you after getting fresh. Okay, drive safely. Love you too, baby. Saying this, he cut the call, and I'm leaving. You can leave too, he said to Mark while standing up from his chair and taking his coat and car key. Thank you, sir. Good night, he said, to which Jungkook just nodded his head, and Mark first left the office, followed by Jungkook, to left the office room. Wine signed after cutting the call, and whole day passed by helping and talking to mom and dad. But now when I think of you going home alone, making me sad and miss you more, she sadly said, knowing Jungkook is all alone tonight, while looking at her phone screen where there is Jungkook's pic as a wallpaper, and she kept admiring him. But Princess, I need your help. She came to reality and off her phone and walked out of the room to downstairs. Jungkook entered the house just to get welcomed by silence, and he took a deep breath, looking around his lonely house. No welcome hug and for today, he said to himself, and unknowingly a small pout appeared on his lip. Maybe cooking will help me divert my mind. Saying this, he walked towards the kitchen. Jungkook entered the kitchen where again he didn't feel like cooking because the place started reminding him of Wine and the lovely moments when they used to cook together, so he just signed and walked out of the kitchen. Ush, I am not feeling like eating too. Maybe a cold shower will help. Saying this, he walked to his bedroom and then to the bathroom to take a cold shower, which also didn't help him as it again reminded him of Wine and the lovely moments where they mostly used to shower together and make. But somehow he took a shower as he badly needed one after a long day at work. After taking a quick shower, he dropped his tired body to the bed and took the remote off the TV and on the TV, hoping watching something will keep him busy. Let's call my baby. Saying this, he kept the remote aside and took his phone, and he was about to dial Wine's number. But the weird sound from the TV caught his attention, and he looked at the TV to see the scene playing, and it reminded him of the sweet memories of Wine from yesterday night when they both happened to see the same scene and ended up making. I need to see her now, he said after losing his control, and jumped from the bed and walked into the closet while putting the phone inside his sweatpant pocket, and then he grabbed a random t-shirt and walked out of the closet closet by unfolding the t-shirt and putting it on, and then he grabbed his car key and turned off the TV and rushed out of house. Here, after having dinner, Wine and her parents were sitting and talking, more like Wine's mom and dad talking, while Wine's attention was on her phone as she was expecting Jungkook's call. But why Cook isn't calling? She whispered while looking at her phone screen, hoping Jungkook will call her anytime. But no, she didn't receive any call nor any message from him, making her worry. So I should call him. Saying this, she walked towards the backyard of the house so as to get privacy. He whispered while jumping the mansion boundary, and then he sneakingly walked towards the backyard of the house, along with taking his phone out from his sweatpants pocket so as to call Wine. But instead, he saw his phone screen light up with love name, making a wide smile appear on his lip, and he was about to take the call, but instead he heard, Cook, just pick it up, I'm getting worried. He heard Wine's voice, so he looked at the opposite direction from where he heard Wine's voice just to see Wine too walking towards the backyard, making Jungkook shrimp, and he put his phone back into his pocket before slowly walking towards Wine's direction, who was busy walking, looking down at the grass, but then suddenly she gasped. Haswain felt someone pulling her towards the corner of the mansion wall and pin her to the wall, making her eyes shut close and the phone fall from her hand. Oh my! And before she can shout, Jungkook covered her mouth with his palm and leaned towards her ears and Love, it's me, your cook, he whispered, and thus Wine opened her eyes just to get surprised, and Jungkook removed his palm from her mouth after seeing her eyes shining, and Wine smiled, Cook, I missed you. Saying this, she immediately threw herself on him and hugged him tightly, making Jungkook to hug her tightly, and Jungkook smiled, I miss you more, babe. He said, and Wine side of it, and then Wine pulled back from hug and Cook, what are you doing here and why you didn't call me? I was waiting for your call, and then lastly, why you didn't pick up my call? She asked him while raising an eyebrow. And in the meantime, Wine was asking Jungkook pick up Wine's phone from the grass and check the screen. Luckily, it didn't broke. And then he put it inside his sweatpants pocket and faced Wine with a small sorry smile and baby that actually then he explained her how he felt so lonely at home and everything around him made him miss her more, and lastly not being able to control himself anymore he rushed to her. And I was about to call you but then thought to call you once I reached your house and ask you to come to backyard, but then I saw you calling me so thought to surprise you, he said only to get up from Wine on his chest. Oh babe, he went while rubbing his chest where Wine him. Do you know how worried I got? She asked in a sad yet angry tone. But then she continued, and why did you sneak? You should have came through the front door. She again asked him, making Jungkook to cup her both cheeks and I'm sorry for making you worry, and also I sneaked because if I came through the front door, your dad won't allow me to touch you. When all I need was a sweet hug and spend time with you alone. Saying this, he her forehead and then her nose tip and lastly her lips, making Wine's anger melt down her feet to the ground, and she replied back to them while wrapping her both hands tightly around Jungkook's back. After a passionate, Jungkook put his forehead on Wine's and Jungkook smiled. I love you, baby. He said near her lips, making his lips touch hers and Wine smile, I love you more, Cook. She said only for Jungkook to harshly smash his lips on her and her deeply, to which Wine to replied back with the same passion. To be continued in Instagram, link is in description. I should leave now, he said, making Wine's smiley face to turn sad. Can't you stay, Cook? I wanna cuddle you, she said with a pout, making Jungkook to sign and hug her. I wish to stay with you and cuddle you, but don't you know your dad will never allow me near you, which is worse seeing you in front of me and not touching you. So it's better that we spend this one night without cuddling each other, he said, making Wine to sign as he is right, as her dad never let Jungkook anywhere near her because of her father's possessiveness. Then you should leave, it's getting dark, she said while looking up at his face, still hugging him, and yeah, I should go. He her forehead and he continued, oops, this night goes very quick so that tomorrow I can come and pick you up and go to our house. Me too. And thus Wine tiptoe and placed her lips on his to have a passionate. After a passionate, I should go now before it's getting difficult for me to leave you. Saying this, he pulled back from the hug and took Wine's phone from his pants pocket and gave it to Wine, who took it and good night, Cook, she said half-heartedly, making Jungkook smile half-heartedly and good night, Boo. Go inside, he said, and her forehead, to which Wine nodded her head and unwillingly turned back and walked inside. Meanwhile, Jungkook kept watching her until she completely disappeared inside the house, and then he too turned around to walk towards the direction from where. Oh, honey, why you didn't let me his for what he did to my princess, he said to his wife, making her roll her eyes and Oh god, you're really an anti-romantic old man. That's why I asked you to read some of my dark romance book. It will help you to know what romance is, she said, making him scoff while she continued. It's all because of your possessiveness that they have to meet secretly, and before she can say further, what happened, Mom? She walked towards the couch and sat next to her mom, who just teasingly smiled at her before saying, Nothing, honey, and where is Cook? She asked, making Wine's eyes wide open in surprise. And Cook, he might be at home, she nervously said while looking between her mom, who was giving a teasing smile to her, and then to her dad, who was a blank space. Yeah, where is he? I need to his for doing. Before he can say further, his wife kicked his leg, making him groan, and she stared at him, indicating to keep his mouth shut, making him obediently shut his mouth. And Wine's mom faced Wine to see her confused face, as she was confused what happening between her parents, which Wine's mom understood. So, honey, we didn't saw you sitting with us, so we came looking for you. Where we saw Cook and you talking in the backyard, she said, making Wine's eyes more wide and shocked. And you saw us talking? Wine's mom nodded her head as yes, which made Wine nervous, thinking did they saw anything else? So, just talking, right? Nothing else, right? She asked her mom with her embarrassed red face. And no, no, we didn't saw anything, we swear, she said, making Wine frown, seeing her mom's little odd behavior. But then what she heard made her forget her mom's behavior. um Princess, why don't you ask Cook to stay here? Your dad also agreed to let him stay here, and he promised that he won't speak harsh with Jungkook, she said, making a wide smile appear on her lips and her eyes shine with happiness. Really, Dad? She asked while facing her dad, who at first had a shocked expression on his face as he was totally unaware of what his wife said. So he looked at his wife's face to see her glaring at him. So he gulped his fear and turned towards Wine with a forced smile. Yeah, yeah, I promise to be nice to him and will not say anything even if he comes near you, he said, making Wine more than happy. But what happened suddenly to you, Dad? Nothing, I just realized you are now grown up and got a husband who loves you as much as I love you. He said truth as he always know it, but his ego is high. But today, after seeing his prince's happy glowing face after he said he accept Jungkook, made him tell the truth just to see her more smile, and indeed that happened. Oh God, thanks Dad, you are the best. Saying this, she got up from the couch and walked towards her dad and bent down to his level and peeked his cheeks and hug him, making Wine's dad feel so complete and happy. I will call Cook, hope he hasn't gone much far, she said while pulling back from hug and facing her parents. Wine mom smiled. Go for it, she said, and Wine immediately walked out of the house to call Jungkook. Finally, you accepted the truth, she said, referring to him, accepting Wine is grown up and got a husband who loves her, which only made Wine start to face down at his life, feeling so low of himself as he let his ego drop. But then Weinstein smiled widely when he felt his wife sneak closer to him and cling his arm and peek his lips. Wine mom smiled. You are the best, Dad, she said, bringing back smile to his Weinstein's face. And also, please behave good with Cook, just for your prince's happiness, okay? She said, making Wine's dad nod his head as yes, and Wine mom smiled. And also, please don't say that we saw them making, okay? Promise, she said while forwarding her little finger towards Wine's dad, making him sign. Promise. Saying this, he gave a pinky promise to Wine's mom. Yes, they both had a peek of Jungkook and Wine each other, but they immediately turned around and Wine's mom pulled a burning Wine's dad's inside. Meanwhile, all the time when Wine's parents and Wine were having the talk, Jungkook was still sitting in his car, which was parked near Wine's house, and debating with himself. I don't wanna go, he said to himself for the nth time, and then finally he decided. Just one last hug, he said, and rushed out of his car to again sneak into backyard of the house. Jungkook sneaked back and he was about to call Wine, but again his phone screen lighted up with love, and he immediately picked up the call just to hear, Cook, Dad agreed for you to stay at home with me, and he even promised that he will be nice to you. So turn the steering and come back to home quickly, she said in one breath, but Jungkook understood it clearly. Yes, so please come back before Dad changes mind. I'm still in the backyard of your house, he said, making Wine surprised now. So she cut the call and ran to the backyard. On the midway, Wine saw Jungkook coming to the entrance of the house, so she stopped walking and Jungkook approached her, and now we don't have to wait for tomorrow. Saying this, she hugged him tightly in happiness. Jungkook smiled. Yeah, come, let's head inside before your dad changes mind. Yeah, you are right. Let's go. Saying this, they both walk inside the house holding each other's hand. Has Wine's dad promised to her mom he doesn't behave harsh with Jungkook and let Jungkook be around Vine, which now he was regretting because he was staring at Jungkook's hand, which were wrapped around Vine's waist, making Vine's that possessiveness to reach his peak. But he was controlling himself. But because of the promise he made to his wife, but he isn't sure for how long he will try to keep the promise. Mom, it's really tasty, he said while eating the snack and having tea which Vine's mom offered him, and that's when Vine's dad looked at his face from his hand around his precious little prince's waist. And I was really starving. I didn't had anything after eating lunch, he said while continuing eating. But what? Why you didn't eat anything? And why you didn't told me earlier that you are starving? She asked, making Jungkook to look at her with his innocent doe eyes. And I was missing you, so I didn't feel like cooking and eating alone. And also earlier, I just forget I was hungry. He innocently said, making Wine blush, remembering the sweet moment from earlier. And Jungkook too smiled, saying Wine blushing, meaning while Wine's mom got a teasing smile, remembering what they saw and understanding what made Jungkook forget his hunger. Yeah, how can he remember his hunger when he was having my princess against the wall? He said, gaining everyone's attention and making everyone's face turn surprised too. Dad, a low voice came from Vine's mouth, and her eyes were wide open, and her whole face got red, not believing what she heard from her dad, making her hide her face in Jungkook's chest, who was surprised but cool. Whereas Vine's dad immediately cupped his mouth when he realized what he just said, and he looked at his wife to see her glaring at him, making him know that he is tonight. The end. Thanks for watching. Bye.